Okay, this is Navy Old Soft Gamer. I'm back with episode 8, I believe? I don't know. I'll have to check. I think it's episode 8. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday, but if you watched my video I posted previous to this, I had a corrupt save game at 3:02 yesterday afternoon, and it took me till 9 o'clock to fix it, and I posted a video about how to fix that, and here I am. I lost about an hour of work, nothing too bad, probably a little less than that, but this is running. I don't think I'm going to mess with this too much yet. I did set it up automated to where this will either be 40 kPa if I'm generating enough power to at least be close. I may have to play with these numbers. You see I'm at 90, it is going up, so that's why it's at 40. If this number was going down, it would be set to 45. If it was the battery was below 50, it would set itself to 55 to catch up. This is my first use of a logic mirror. I don't know if you're real familiar with them, but it's a means of taking data from one network, in other words, past a power controller or another grid, and passing it onto another grid so you can use it. So I mirrored this batch reader, so it doesn't give you the number, but it says it's mirroring the battery batch reader when you select it. So I'm taking the data off of this network and outputting it to this network so I can use it up top there. And I'll show you my program. This is it's a test program, basically. Not very elegant. I shut lights off because it's warming up in here. I'm going to have to actually set up a cooling system for in here. It keeps getting up to 35, and it's a little annoying, actually. I think it might be the refrigerator. That's something I got powered in here. Is there a refrigerator? And these are probably just absorbing temperature. But anyway, I got sidetracked. So here's my program. Basically, I'm reading power used off the cable controllers, power created off the other cable controller, the battery charge, the H2 fuel input, which is the thing I pointed to up there, that'll either be 40, 45, or 55. And I just aliased R10 as the fuel input register so I can keep track of it. And then I just load power used, power created, and battery charge at the start of every sweep here. And if power used is greater than power created, and again I might change this, go to fuel upcheck. If it's not greater, power actual, power created, power used, power created. Yeah, that's right. If power used is greater than power created, then I go to power checkup, and basically this is now saying, is it less than 75% R2, which is the battery charge. So if the battery is less than 75%, then I go to boost fuel. If not, I go to 45. If everything's cool, it sets it at 40. If it's a little low, it sets it at 45. If the battery is 75% charged, it goes down to boost fuel and sets the fuel input to 55. And then I save fuel input setting fuel input. Basically this is saving to the device. I had to do that 3 times. So I move fuel input, which is R10, 40. then I save that to the fuel input dial. Basically I'm saying save to the fuel input dial the setting of fuel input, which is that number there. So this is working. I had to tweak these. I started this one at 50 and it wasn't quite keeping up, so I raised it to 55. I have been up there. This is working because I have been up there when it was 40 and 45 and 55. So this has been working pretty well. Am I happy with this? I don't know. I'm going to have to tweak it. These numbers, as I use more power, are going to have to get raised also. I mean, the more power I use, I'll probably have to up these every once in a while. But we'll see how that works. It is working. It's working on its own. I've been making cans of vegetables, so I have plenty of food, which I should probably eat now. Might as well while I'm in here. And I'm thirsty, so that was actually a pretty good timing. So one of these is open. Uh-oh. You can reuse these cans over and over too. It's kind of nice. So I usually when I get down to 3 cans, I remake the stuff. Water. Now, how's my water going? I did bring, and you'll see this extra connector right there. I did cool a water tank and bring it down here. I've only done that once. So I'm at 63 liters. So I am down a little bit. But I'm not doing too bad. And I have some up top here, I'll show you in a minute, which I need to cool. And that's probably next on my list actually, is set a evaporator up there. There's another thing I did, and it's made my life much easier. I actually, there's some gold that I did, I actually broke down and made Inconel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. As you can see, this is staying pretty stable. Still at 95. So it's working pretty well up there. My only drawback to it is I have to keep feeding volatiles in here every once in a while. I'm at 5 and 6, so I'm okay. I'm at 8 in there, and it doesn't, I mean, it's going up still because I'm draining these 2 tanks with that. Now eventually I'm going to have to put a pipe analyzer on here so I don't over pressurize those and blow things up, but right now I'm okay. I was talking, I made Inconel, and I'll show you why. This has saved me so much work. I needed Inconel to make sensor glasses. What do I need sensor glasses for? Let me, because these batteries go down fast. Let me swap those out. I don't know how many of you are familiar with these, but man, did this make mining easier for me. And I got to make the new miner too, but you see, I don't have to hunt and peck anymore. That looks like, is that X? There's some volatiles right there. And sometimes you do have to drill down a little bit, but who cares? This is all volatiles hidden underground that I wouldn't have been able to see. I'm not sure what P6 is. I have to look at that. Now, this isn't real easy with my color vision. I have to try and read them. But this makes it so much easier to find the ores that I need. And what I usually do is just load up on what I need. And I don't like mining on videos, but I thought it was kind of cool. I've used this in the past, and I need to upgrade to this second mining tool. But there you go. I already got 4 stacks, almost. We'll get 4 stacks and then I'll stop. What is P6? I might have to mine one of those just to figure out what it is. Okay, now what's P6? P6, or is it PG? I don't know. The only problem using this thing is you do get buried. And because you're moving around without paying attention, you create holes. And there's almost every time oh, there it is. Almost every time I've had to like drill my way back out of the ground because you get stuck like that. Okay. They are kind of annoying when you're trying to do other things. Look at that, it's up. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. This way. I did have my scanner to point the way if I needed it. But like I said, for now, every once in a while I just have to throw some. I'm at 6, so really if I throw it in there now, I run the risk of over-pressurizing. But there you go. So like I said, still holding steady. That program 95. That program does work pretty well. Back to water. But that mining device has made my life 1,000% easier. I think I have, yeah, see, I got 21 liters of water. That's too warm in there. So I am making water pretty good. I got some in here, but basically what's happening now with the way this is set up, this, by the way, is just venting all the CO2 out of here to keep this pipe from getting too crazy over-pressurized. And it's 318, so that is a cool down mode. So this is probably at 40. Now eventually it'll cool down too much, and I'll start losing temperature. Then my power usage will outweigh my power produced, and this will go back to 45. And I have stood here and watched it switch a few times. So it's an okay program. I mean, I think I may have to tweak it, and I have some of these up here because I do go through, these are the cheap filters, so I do go through these pretty quick. Not quick, but pretty regular. When this sorts, I had some issues here that I wasn't expecting. I was building up water in this pipe, which I didn't think I would do. It was a temperature thing, I think. So I put a, I think it was a purge valve. This is a purge valve. I don't want to give you the wrong name. Condensation valve. Put a condensation valve on there, which pulls all the water out of this tank. Very slowly, but you see there's 0.007 in there. It pulls it out of there, and I also have it pumping it out of here. And I have 640 moles of steam in there. That's a lot. That's probably 10, 20 liters of water. But that's been running that way for a while, so we'll see how that holds up. But this has been going up pretty steady, and I got CO2 and pollutants in there. It's not going to matter. I'll just pump the liquid out of there and then drain that out. That happened when I had this issue, because I had pollutants freezing, and it kind of bled everything over. I'm not sure how I got the CO2 in there. Weird. But I do have this in here. But the problem with this is the purge valve, I think. It doesn't say somewhere. Should. Purge valve? Purge valve. The problem is it takes gas out of here. That's all well and good. I'd love to get that gas out of there. But steam is a gas. So if I turn this on, it starts putting the steam right back into the system to be filtered back out. So I thought I could use that to get rid of the other stuff. Yeah, it was going down slowly, but it was taking more steam than was worthwhile. It didn't work so well. And I do have this spare tank here with some steam and not much anymore. It does have 5 liters of water in it, and this has been just slowly cooling off. So, I think, let me move this just a little bit. I think what I'm about to do now is pause the video, and I'm going to put an evaporator on here. And I'm going to take the pollutants out of here. I got 500 and rising. Boy, that temperature really went down. Let's go up to 45 yet? No. How are we doing over here? No, we're still doing pretty good. Okay. I'm not running much right now, so that's probably why. I'm running the pressure gas mixer here. How are we doing pressure? 5. Eventually, once I get the rockets, I'll disconnect this, or separate this, where I'll put volatiles, one ice filter for volatiles and one ice filter for oxygen, and I'll have rockets load up silos and automatically fill this section of it, so I don't have to keep doing what I'm doing now, and that's going over here, throwing an ice in, turning that on, turning that on, and then of course you use 2 times more volatiles, so, but there you go. Alright, so let me pause this, set up my evaporator system. Probably going to take me a little while, but we'll get this running. Is this 45 yet? Yeah, see, since I turned on the ice crusher and the filter, it's using more power, and it says, oh, I'm using more than I'm producing, go up to 45. And that in turn is going to heat this up. See, 92, 93, heats that up, heats the pipe up slowly, and makes the turbine spin faster. I'm wondering, just out of curiosity, I really need to set up some ladders. So I am using right now 2.27 kilowatts, so that seems a bit high, but that's what it says I'm using. And you see the required is going down, so, or up I mean, and it says I'm creating 1.39. That's why it went to 45, because I'm not creating as much as I'm using, and that means this should be going down a little, and it is. Now once this, if and when this gets to 75%, it'll kick up to 55, which is always, over time, made this recover. And as you can see, I hope there's 50 coals in there. Yep. This is still set to, if there's an emergency, if this gets to 50%, the generator boosts it back up. But I haven't been using that, so. Alright, let me make the evaporator and I'll be back. Okay, so I was thinking, I did have a evaporator up here, and I even set up the atmospherics to collect the pollutants, and I'm thinking, is it worth it? Why don't I just hook up some pipes and cool it? Now, I will have to keep an eye on this, because I do not want something to crack and drain out my 24 plus liters of water in there. But I don't know, in an effort to save power, is it really worth it to run an evaporator up here? Now I got tanks sitting all over the place. That one's empty. That one I can hook up over there and get a few more liters out of once this one's done. You see what I'm thinking? I mean, it's just as easy, because you don't get water constantly. Why have an evaporator running constantly? Just let it build up in a tank. See, this one's going to be clean and fresh without the problems that I had before I hooked up all this extra stuff here. And I also noticed that I barely, with all this pipe, there's so much volume in this. There's so many moles. I got 740 moles there, 900 there, another 900 down below. This goes down really slow now, which is nice. I mean, you can even see the molds going down. There it goes, 746. So I'm not going to have to be running the gas stuff as much as I was before, because it barely goes down. What is it set at? 40. So it's still set at the setting where I'm producing enough, and yes, and it's been like 30 minutes, and I'm almost fully charged. I'm making more than I need right now. At 40, I'm not too worried about that. That's hardly using up anything, and if I let this cool off too much, then it takes a while to heat back up. So there's a lot less pressure in there now because I took some of the pollutants out, and I'm still venting out all the CO2. So it's keeping this under control pretty well. So I think I'm just going to go with this, and when I get like, 100 liters in here over time, I'll just plug it into this. And it's going down, it's 190. I'll just sit here and watch it, and then I'm pretty sure if I hook this up to the water in my room, and I think I got a volume pump down there. I had to go get silicone of all things. I needed that, I think, for the evaporator, which I ended up not using. Oh well. Yeah, I have a volume pump here now. If I have it hooked up to the water, it should not pump out the gas. I could be wrong on that. I'd like to set up a gauge or something, just so I can have a visual of how much water I have. 43, so I still got 63. And I did bring some of it down here, like I said. I think it was like 12 liters that I pumped in there. I'll leave that on anymore. It's turning yellow now, though. I should turn it off. I just got to remember to turn it back on when I come in here. I need a battery, which is going to make this go down probably. Yeah, which is okay. I'm at 98%. So this is surprisingly stable. I mean, as you can see, with all that, like I said, with all that pipe in those two tanks, I won't have to do much with this down here. Just keep these two tanks relatively full, so when I need to pop it on, and I could automate this. See, I could use some oxygen. I could easily throw some oxygen in there, but I got that turned off now. I got plenty of volatiles, so I'll have to go mine some oxygen here eventually. I think I'm just going to go with it like this. Why is that tank leaning like that? Let's just straighten up. I'll just have to keep an eye on it as it cools. And make sure I don't get liquid pollutants. That's another interesting thought. Pressure's going down. I gotta watch those pollutants. If they start liquefying, I'm gonna be in trouble. Let me look that up before I get into trouble here. All I gotta do to stop this is take these back off. So, do I have to worry at that pressure? If I go down to 30 at that pressure with pollutants? I don't think so, but I want to be safe. Pollutants. Use Celsius. If I go down to 30 Celsius, not minus 30, I'm okay up to 3 megapascals. If I go, yeah, so I'll be fine, because I'm at 2, and it won't liquefy. I think it was at 2. It won't liquefy until it gets in the teens. So yeah, 2.6. So I should be fine. Famous last words. Oh, fine. It'll be good. So I'm gonna hook these back up. Oop, wrong one. just going to keep an eye on this. Once it gets to 25 or 30, 25, 3.6. As long as that pressure isn't above 3.6, I should be fine. But I'll keep an eye on that. Alright, so I'm going to pause it. I'm going to cool it like this. I'm just going to keep doing it like this. Because it takes a long time. Why have the evaporator running constantly? You see, I've only got, I got a lot of steam in here. I could maybe swap this tank out. But I don't need to do that yet either. 340. And it's pumping the liquid out there. I gotta remember 630. Let me see if that's going up or not. But I think 630 is probably about 12 liters. I'm not sure though. But there you go. I'll come back when this is cooled and I'll pump it into the other tank. I think I'll set a gauge up down there while I'm waiting. I got a little bit of time, so I'll be back. Okay, so I'm down to 29 Celsius, which is satisfactory for me. I'm happy with that. So now we deconstruct. I'm going to hang on to those up here. Oh! Hang on to those up here. And now, if I look in here, I have 19.2, but if I do these in reverse, it should force all that water back into here. That does, 21.6. Okay, so I got 21.6 water and the pollutants, so that's going to be the tricky part. I'm hoping it doesn't, and if it does, I'll filter it out or something. I'll worry about it later. It's not going to mess my water up. But I think if I bring this in here, and by the way, I'm still stable with power, working really well. I'm lost. There I am. Actually, and you should always back into these, and I messed that up. I also put an air cooler in here, which I'll show you in a second, because it got up to 36 in here, and that's just too doggone hot. Enough? Come on. But while I had this air cooler running, and I can turn it back on now that I'm here, it sensed the heater, or the fuel input valve sensed, hey, he's using more power than I'm producing, and it went up to 45. It's just working surprisingly well. And those numbers seem to be working. Now if I turn lights on and stuff, which I'm going to probably do now, and we'll see what happens. But I'm going to set this up to automate it, which is real easy to do, if you have any questions on that. Now, this is going to be the big test. I'm hoping, since I'm pulling out just the water, I'm hoping that when I turn this on, I don't get the pollutants over here. We'll see what happens. The percent's going up, but the moles of each are not going down, so that is working really well. And as you see, 50 liters, 51 liters. So I am successfully creating water. Very happy with this setup right now. That was 21 liters. I think I had 70 something when I started the game. I don't remember exactly. I'm just watching to make sure I don't start pulling. I don't think I will. So what I can do is when I go outside, I'll just open the valve and bleed out all this pressure. Just got to watch for those to go down when the water runs out. I don't think it will. moles, I'm watching the pollutants. 391, 291. Now when the liquid stops, does that stay 391? 391. Got just about all the water out of there. So it does look like, and it makes sense, that the liquid pipe and the liquid volume pump would only take the water and not the gas. But, you know, sometimes when you do things that you think make sense, they don't make sense and do what you don't think they should do. So I'm not going to worry about getting every tiny little bit of water out of here, just the most of it. I probably could have stopped a while ago, but you know what? It's a commodity, precious commodity. Alright, that's good enough. So thankfully it did not pump in the water. So what have I got in here now? I got 57 liters plus 26 liters. So 50, what did I say, 57? Yeah, 57, 77, 83. So I have, if my memory is correct, I have recouped all the water that I have drank. So, excellent. Water is now under control. Power is now under control. Food has been under control, although kind of yucky. Right. So I'm down to 28. I'm going to turn that off until I automate it. We're going to take this back up to the top. Back out the door. Make sure I'm on the way. Back out. Drop it. The reason you back out is because there is a rare occasion when you can get glitched in the doorway. And it'll beat you senseless when you're carrying one of these portable pipes or something else like a portable, what is it, the portable air conditioner. That's what cows are evil, got beat to death with almost. Alright, so I'm going to set this down. I no longer need that one. And I'm going to open the valve and hopefully vent out all the air that's in here. All the gas, I'm hoping. And it looks like it is. Excellent. So all that pollutant and all that other crap in there is not a big deal. I would vent it out faster, but it tends to blow like that. Everything off the top of the, because it's a vacuum. So it just blows everything like, ah! Alright, so I've already got 7 liters in this tank. But I'll let that get to like 100 unless the pressure gets out of control. And it's not. And the only reason it would is because of the steam. But let's see, this is currently now, should be 45. It is 40, wow, okay. So I must be, this is making me nervous. You know what I could do? This one has some steam and stuff in it if I remember right. Let's put this on here. Oops, I had it. I didn't hit the button in time. Try that. There we go. And hook these back up real quick. And put a couple of these back on it. So I'll have to watch this, but after this one's done, I'll get rid of this tank. I just couldn't bring myself, I'll put them over here. Couldn't bring myself to vent out the little bit of water that's in here. Just couldn't do it. I don't even remember what I have in here, but it was enough where I was like, hey, you can't vent it. Yeah, 6 liters. I mean, what the heck? So I'll let that cool down. And is this empty now? It is. Completely empty. So let's close this off while I'm thinking of it. Okay. So, even though I turned the AC on for a while and the lights on in there, it is a little lower. So if it gets down to 75, is it going up? It's going up. So that's why, since it's going up, that's why it's at 40. As long as I'm producing more than I'm using, it stays at 40. Otherwise it would shift to 45 or 55 depending. So I think that'll be it for this episode. I am done. I'm happy with, not done with this world, of course, there's a long way to go yet. But I'm done worrying about power. That's working. I got it back up with coal, which is cool. I have a few coals over here. I have the fancy mining mask that helps me find ores, like really easy. Works really well. I like this. I've only used it once before, and I thought as I'm walking around, because surprisingly on this planet, the ores all seem to be underground. There's very few on the top. You can see some of them are really deep. Now, eventually, not right away, I'll set up a deep miner, but that's still not going to help me with the ice that I need to run in here. Did I turn that back off? I did. This is my cooling vent for my AC. I did put insulated pipe on the inside of there, so otherwise it would just cool constantly. It's surprisingly easy to cool in a vacuum. I would not be surprised if they changed that somehow, because it is just too easy. I hate to say it, but it really is. I mean, you put a pipe on it, a couple of these radiators, and temperatures start to drop like crazy. And as my liquid is going up as my steam is disappearing. So I'll get another 7.5 liters out of this one. And that was my test run. So total 21, 7, and so we'll say 8, so 29 because of it both, and an additional 10. So I've gotten 39 liters of water out of this setup so far. More than enough that I'm drinking. Working really well. Quite pleased with this whole setup. Still going up. And only using 40, which hardly lowers this thing at all. Wow. It's just a very slow drain on my fuel. So this is working good. Okay, so I am happy with this. Now I may adjust the programming a little bit for the Stirling engine, which I haven't really even... Where did that tank come from? Oh, I dropped that a long time ago, I remember now. That's an old fuel tank. I should take care of that. That's my original furnace. I just kicked that into the abyss. And yeah, I gotta get a shelf out here because I'm just such a slob. I mean, I really am. My wife's been telling me that for years. There you go. That's it for today. In the next episodes, I'm going to look into setting up the miner. That's probably the next thing. I'll work on rockets. I remember I want to stay isolated. I want to do this on my own. It would be so easy for me to set up trading, but I'm a castaway, and I don't know there's traders in there. Somebody dropped me on this planet and said, here's some stuff, get started, and I don't know there's traders. I don't see any traders. Do you see any traders? Ah, no traders up there. Right now I don't even see any planets, except for the big Titan, or big Saturn Titan. Well, looks like there might be a planet there. But they gave me this rocket gear, so that I can make. So maybe I'll make a rocket and see what I can find out. And I will use a pressure-fed gas engine. I have gotten that to work. Not an efficient method. If you watch Cows Are Evil, his last video, he's awesome. He got the liquid-fed gas engine to work with nitrous. incredibly difficult. The guy's really good, and it worked really well. He's a stinking genius, is what he is. But and he keeps all his stuff so organized. Now this ain't bad down here, but you know, the roof is kind of a mess. But I don't really care. It works, and it's working quite well. Ooh, I gotta watch this, don't I? 66. I'm up to 7. Okay, so that'll be it for today. David Old Salt Gamer, please subscribe and like. I enjoy making these. If you have any questions, I don't think I made any code that I didn't show you. I showed you that code. I'll set up the code for my air conditioner, which is really easy. And I'll show you that tomorrow. I might even have that in my library, but it's so easy. I just throw it together. Other than that, like I said, stable power, gaining water, stable food, stable air, self-sufficient at the moment, and we'll see you tomorrow.